So, this happened last week. It was a pretty average Wednesday, nothing special. I had a slow morning, kind of dragging my feet getting out of bed. One of those days where the sunlight feels too bright no matter how many times you blink. I hadn't had my coffee yet, which, let's be real, is probably 90% of my personality in the morning, so I was barely functioning. But I remembered I had this little mission planned for the day. Find a gift for Sophia. Now, Sophia isn't my girlfriend or anything. I don't know. He's special. That kind of person who makes your day better just by existing in it. We've been friends for years, and lately we've been talking more often. Texting every day, sending voice notes at midnight, you know the drill. So I wanted to give her something small, something casual but meaningful. Nothing crazy. Just a reminder that I appreciate her. I'd been thinking about it for a while, and I kept going back to this idea of a coffee mug. Sounds basic, right? But hear me out. Every time we call each other in the morning, she's always holding this chipped old mug that says, "This might be wine," in terrible cursive font. She bought it during college and refuses to throw it out because she says it's seen her through too many heartbreaks and late-night cram sessions. But it's literally hanging on by a thread, like one more wash and that thing's history. So I figured, what if I got her a new mug? One that would become the next memory holder. Something cool, not too cheesy, not too serious. Something very I didn't want to order it online because I'm a procrastinator and shipping would have taken too long. Plus, there's something about actually picking the gift with your own hands, you know? So I headed downtown to this tiny shop I'd passed a bunch of times but never really gone inside. It's one of those places that smells like cinnamon and books and old wood. Cozy. I was already nervous walking in. Why? I don't even know. Just a mug. But when you care about someone, even the small things feel like they matter more. Anyway, I start looking around and the guy behind the counter gives me this nod like, "Yeah, I know you're not a regular here." And the mugs were everywhere, lined up on these uneven wooden shelves like tiny soldiers. Hand-painted, some with weird quotes, some with plants, some shaped like animals. Total mug chaos. I spent like 20 minutes just picking them up, staring at them, putting them back. I probably looked like a lunatic. There was this one that almost made the cut. It had this little cat hanging from a tree branch that said, "Hang in there," in tiny letters. It was cute but also too cliché. Too much like a get-soon gift. Then I saw it. This dusty blue mug with a simple hand-drawn sun on it. Kind of imperfect, like a kid had doodled it with a marker. And underneath it just said, "You make the mornings better." I stared at it for a good minute. Not flashy, not loud. Just honest. I imagined her holding it during our calls, maybe even laughing at it like, "Seriously? You're such a sap." But I knew she'd secretly love it. I took it to the counter and the guy looked at me like, "Good choice," but didn't say anything, which somehow made it even better. I asked him if they had any gift wrapping and he offered to put it in this craft paper box with twine. Said yes. While he was packing it up, I found myself thinking about this one morning a few weeks back when I was feeling really off. Just kind of spiraling for no reason, one of those days. And Sophia had sent me this random voice note where she said something like, "Hey, I don't know what's going on in your head today, but drink your coffee, go outside, breathe, and stop overthinking everything." I hadn't even told her I was down. She just knew. I never forgot that. Anyway, I left the shop holding this tiny box like it was some kind of treasure. Funny how a mug can feel important. Here's the awkward part, though. I didn't really plan how I was gonna give it to her. I mean, I didn't want it to be a whole thing, but also didn't want to just drop it in her lap like, "Here, take this object." I ended up texting her, "Hey, I passed by this shop today and saw something that reminded me of you. Can I drop it off later?" She answered in like 2 seconds. "Oh, what is it?" "You have to come in. I'll make cookies." So I went over that evening. Her place smelled like vanilla and something else. Maybe cinnamon? She had her hair up in one of those messy buns that only girls seem to know how to do perfectly by accident. We sat in her kitchen, and I gave her the box without saying much. She opened it slowly, and the second she saw it, she looked up at me and smiled. Not a big, dramatic smile. Just this soft one like it really landed. She turned the mug in her hands, looked at the little sun and then said, "You're gonna make me cry over a cup." I laughed, tried to play it off with, "Well, I figured it's time to retire the wine mug before it commits suicide." She rolled her eyes, but then she hugged me. And it wasn't just a casual hug. It was one of those long ones where neither of you says anything, but it says everything. We had cookies and talked about random stuff. Her coworker drama, some new podcast she's obsessed with, a weird dream she had. But the whole time, the mug sat on the counter, like it had already claimed its spot in her life. That night, walking back home, I started thinking about how easy it is to overlook the small stuff. Like you scroll through your day, your feed, your thoughts, looking for something big to happen, but sometimes it's just buying a mug, taking the time, choosing something with care, and realizing that even the tiniest gestures can mean the world when they come from a real place. Anyway, that was my Wednesday.